Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into how artificial intelligence is set to completely flip one of the most fundamental parts of school on its head, testing and grading. All right, let's get into it.
And this quote, honestly, it just nails the core idea for today. We're not just talking about swapping a piece of paper for an iPad. This is something way bigger. It's about a total makeover, a fundamental rethinking of what assessment is even for.
So first up, let's zoom out and look at the big picture. What is this AI transformation in assessment really all about?
Think about it like this. For so long, traditional exams have been this one-shot deal, right? A single snapshot of what a student knows on one particular Tuesday afternoon. But what AI promises is something more like a movie, a continuous, rich, detailed picture of a student's entire learning journey, not just the final frame. Okay, so that's the big idea. It sounds great in theory, but what does this total makeover actually look like for a real teacher in a real classroom right now? Let's look at a concrete example.
So let's get practical with a tool you might already know, quizzes. They, like a lot of platforms, have baked AI into their system in a really powerful way. Basically, the AI acts as a super smart assistant for teachers, helping them create and then fine-tune their assessments.
And check out how incredibly flexible this is. A teacher can take a YouTube video they just showed the class, paste the link in, and boom, instant quiz based on that video. Or they can upload a PDF of a textbook chapter. Or if they're just brainstorming, they can literally just type in a topic like photosynthesis for 7th graders, and the AI gets to work generating the questions for them.
But here's where it gets really cool. It's not just creating the questions, it's making them better. With a click, the AI can rephrase a boring question into a real-world problem. It can automatically add detailed explanations for every answer, so students learn right away why they got something wrong. And this is huge. A teacher can instantly reduce the number of multiple-choice options for students who need a little more support. That's powerful differentiation, and it takes seconds.
Which brings us to a really important question. You might be thinking, okay, this is just a fancy time saver for teachers, right? And yes, it absolutely saves them a massive amount of time. But if that's all it did, it would be a nice convenience, not a revolution. The real impact here, it goes so much deeper.
And that brings us to the real magic. The true power of AI on assessment isn't actually about the grading part at all. It's about the guidance.
So to really get this, we need a quick refresher on the two main types of assessment. There's summative assessment. That's the big one. The final exam, the end-of-unit project. It's an assessment of learning. But then you have formative assessment. This is all the stuff that happens during the learning process. The quick quizzes, the exit tickets, the polls. This is assessment for learning, designed to give feedback and guide the very next step.
And that is where AI's superpower lies. It's like pouring rocket fuel on that formative process. Think about it. Instead of waiting a day or even a week for a teacher to hand back a graded quiz, a student gets instant, personalized feedback that helps them understand their mistake right in the moment, when it actually matters.
And quizzes is not alone here. Not by a long shot. What we're seeing is a whole ecosystem of these tools springing up. You've got platforms like Formative, which can analyze student responses in real time, or GradeScope, which helps grade much more complex assignments. It's a clear signal that the entire field is sprinting in this direction.
But of course, with all of this incredible innovation comes a massive, massive responsibility. Anytime you introduce technology this powerful into a classroom, especially when it involves student data, you have to move forward carefully with a really clear ethical compass.
So the real question isn't just what can this AI do, it's what should it do? We can't just throw these tools into schools without a thoughtful strategy that maximizes all the good stuff while protecting against some very real risks, like data privacy violations or hidden biases in the algorithms.
So the experts have laid out some core principles, some ground rules. Fairness, making sure the AI isn't biased against any group of students. Privacy, that's an absolute non-negotiable. Transparency, we have to be able to understand how the AI is coming to its conclusions. And maybe the most important one of all, accountability. A human teacher always has to be in the driver's seat, making the final call.
And that leads to maybe the most critical point of all. AI in the classroom is a tool, a deeply powerful pedagogical instrument for sure, but it is not a replacement for a teacher's expertise. It's there to handle the heavy lifting of data and automation so teachers can focus on the things only a human can do: mentor, motivate, and inspire.
So if we get this right, if we find that balance between innovation and responsibility, what does the future of assessment even look like?
Well, it's pretty exciting to think about.
We're heading towards a future where AI really does act as a pedagogical sidekick for every single teacher. Imagine assessments that don't just care about the final answer, but can actually analyze the process a student took to get there. Or think about immersive tests in virtual reality that simulate complex real-world tasks. We're even talking about proactive AI that could predict where a student is about to struggle and flag it for the teacher before it even happens.
But with all this futuristic talk, this quote from Harvard's Project Zero just brings it all back home. It grounds us in the real purpose of all this. For so long, assessment has felt like it's all about judgment. The promise of this technology is to finally shift that focus squarely onto helping. And so that leaves us with this one big, hopeful question. With all this innovation, can AI help us finally make that shift? To transform assessment from something that's dreaded, a moment of judgment, into a pivotal, insightful, and maybe even a welcome moment of true learning. That's the real revolution we're hoping for.